Today we're talking AMD, the chip maker that went from also ran to also winning, and now wants a front row seat for the AI party. Quick headline version: AMD's data center business rocked 2024. Management sees tens of billions ahead in AI accelerator revenue. The company has grabbed solid market share on desktops and servers, and analysts are still arguing about margins and valuation. AMD's big picture: growth, share gains, and a curious analyst debate. The big number: data center revenue and why it matters. AMD reported that its data center revenue reached about $12.6 billion in 2024, up roughly 94% year over year. Yes, nearly doubling in a single year. That's not a gentle nudge, it's a pogo stick launch. This surge reflects rising demand for EPYC server CPUs and Instinct AI accelerators across cloud providers and large enterprises. Why does this matter? Because the data center is where the money is for modern compute. Hyperscalers, cloud providers, and big enterprises buy thousands of chips and then charge customers for the compute those chips provide. When your chips are in the engines powering AI models and cloud services, your revenue scales fast, and investors take notice. Market share: AMD's gains on desktop and server, in plain terms. AMD has grown to about 1/3 of the desktop CPU market and roughly 27% server CPU unit share. That's broadly consistent with public market share snapshots and Mercury Research/industry write-ups that show AMD making steady inroads against Intel across consumer and server segments. Put differently, AMD is no longer the scrappy underdog, it's a serious contender on the main stage. Imagine the CPU market as the cola aisle. For a long time, one brand, Intel Cola, held most of the shelf space and the big end-cap displays. AMD walked in with a clever new flavor, Zen-based CPUs, a better price, and suddenly shoppers started grabbing 2 cans instead of 1. That 2-can move is what gains market share looks like. AI chips market, a giant buffet getting bigger. Industry research firms revised up AI infrastructure forecasts significantly over the last couple of years. One widely cited forecast projects the AI data center chip market to reach about $286 billion by 2030, up from roughly $123 billion in 2024, a dramatic expansion driven by training and inference demand. That projection shows why big chip makers are investing aggressively. Why should you care? Because scale attracts competition and scale rewards incumbents who can supply performance at the right price. The market is big enough that multiple suppliers can win, and different parts of the stack, training versus inference, memory-heavy versus compute-heavy, favor different architectures and companies. By the way, if you are benefiting from the content so far and want more like this, like the video, it means much to me. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications bell, and comment the word more. Just go ahead and type the word more so I know. Now that you have commented, let's continue. Training versus inference, where AMD stands today. Let's demystify two terms: training, teaching a giant neural network by feeding it gazillions of examples, and inference, using that trained network in production to answer user queries. Training is extremely compute-intensive and has been dominated by specialty GPUs, high, NVIDIA, optimized for peak throughput. Inference is a different animal. It needs efficiency, cost control, and often massive scale because inference runs are many more in number even if each is less intensive than a training job. AMD isn't the dominant leader in training hardware yet, but it has been gaining traction with its Instinct family, MI300 series and successors, and an aggressive roadmap that targets both training and inference niches. Management has publicly said they see a path to tens of billions in AI accelerator revenue as they scale their Instinct lineup and partner with OEMs and cloud providers. That's a bold claim, but the product cadence and partnerships make it plausible. If training is a heavyweight powerlifter bench pressing massive weights, NVIDIA's strong suit, inference is a marathon, hundreds of thousands of lighter efforts where stamina and efficiency win. AMD is building the best shoes for the marathon and getting better at the powerlifter's bench too. Why AMD's cost advantage matters for inference. Inference buyers, think SaaS providers, edge deployments, Recommendation engines care about throughput per dollar. If AMD can deliver competitive inference performance at a lower total cost, chip cost plus memory plus power plus system, customers will adopt more broadly, especially for huge inference fleets where even a small per query saving multiplies into big dollars. AMD's strategy: push dense memory architectures, leverage partnerships with server OEMs, and offer a product roadmap that closes the performance gaps while keeping costs attractive. In short, even if AMD doesn't win every training contract, it can still win the much larger long tail of inference deployments. That's the thesis analysts who like AMD's long-term upside are selling. Erste downgrades, Truist stays bullish. Why opinions differ. Not everyone agrees on how rosy the picture is. On one side, Erste Group recently downgraded AMD from buy to hold, pointing to concerns over operating margins and valuation. The worry being that despite revenue growth, margins may not expand fast enough to justify the current price. That's a classic. Growth now, profit later. Skepticism. On the other side, Truist Securities is still on team buy and maintains a $213 price target, arguing that customer perception in the data center and AI markets is shifting positively towards AMD and that execution could justify a higher multiple. Essentially, they see the revenue trajectory and roadmap translating into durable market share and profits. It's like reviewing a new restaurant. One critic says, "Great growth in diners, but the kitchen is chaos and they're spending too much on decor." The other says, "The menu is catching fire, repeat customers are showing up, and soon this place will be a regional staple." Both critics can be right in their time frame. Risks to watch, because every hero plot has antagonists. Margin pressure: if AMD's growth stays heavy on services, or if price competition forces lower ASPs, operating margins may lag. That's exactly what Erste flagged. NVIDIA's entrenched position, NVIDIA's software ecosystem, CUDA, CUDA, Mellanox networking ties previously, and huge install base make it hard to displace as the default for training workloads. AMD must keep improving both hardware and software stack. Supply and partner execution: winning design slots with cloud providers and OEMs matters. If AMD stumbles in system integration or deliveries, growth could slow. Note this as well. But thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. Matthew 6:6. If we fully obey the Lord, the Creator of heaven and earth, and carefully follow all His commandments, He has promised to set us high above all the nations of the earth. Deuteronomy 28. We shall be blessed when we come in and when we go out. I appeal to you to accept God and let Him be your guide, for He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. Deuteronomy 31 verse 8. Want more information? Please check the description section. That's the end for now. If you have watched until the end, drop a comment like this: "I stayed until the end." Just comment that I stayed until the end. When I see this comment, I will give you a heart. 3 more favors I request from you. First, like this video, subscribe and then turn on the notifications bell. If you do this, you greatly encourage me to continue bringing to you insightful content. Do not miss out on our future videos full of insight. All I am asking is your subscription. Thanks for joining us today. Your support means so much to us. Do not hesitate to share this video to help someone who may benefit. I recommend that you watch the next video, subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts about today's video. Wish you God's blessings and care. Faith and prayer will do what no power on earth can accomplish. See you in the next video by God's mercy.